Hi everyone, how's it all going? So today's video is solely made for people who are asking a lot of questions about the products that I use and the paints that I use. And so I just thought I'd just give an overview video of how I get a component, how we prepare it, priming, sanding, top coating, what fans I use, what filters, etc, etc. Spray machines, everything you need to know. Okay, let's start with the materials that I use. Okay, so I personally use standard MDF. There are lots of other people who use more expensive MDF, all different brands. But for me, as long as I get a decent quality standard MDF, not light and fluffy, it's got to be looking quite dark, and it feels dense, heavy when you carry it, then it sprays really, really well for me. So yeah, as you can see behind me, excuse all the mess, I'm having a little sort out, a whole stack of MDF. Okay, I get deals here and there, so I have got some moisture resistant and I have got a few bits of other MDF, but it's mainly standard MDF. So once the job has been confirmed with the customer, obviously, and the deposit has been paid, I will go ahead and design the wardrobe, and I will do numerous sketches, all freehand. It is my style. You can do whatever you like. You can use CAD, you can use SketchUp, but I generally just do freehand sketches because it's quick and easy. I don't spend a lot of time or waste a lot of time on these, but it's got every measurement that I need on them. Yeah, the lines are all squiggly. It's the way I've been doing things for the past 15 years as a self-employed furniture maker, and Sean reads them just fine, so do I, so I just keep it short and sweet. Once I've got my drawings, I will transfer them onto a cutting list like so. If you want to see how I make my cutting list, or if you want to transfer those onto a cut list, head over to this video to find out how to cut them out more efficiently, or the most efficient way of using your sheet material. So we'll use the stock in the spray room. It's the only place we've got to keep our stock, and we'll use the track saw square, which is adjustable, and we will use the parallel guides, okay, along with a track. We've got the Makita 1.5 meter track there, and we've cut 1.5. Okay, so I think that's 750. So when we want to do small cuts, we've also got an extra long one, which is 3 meters, which is up in that beam. Okay, so if we are doing long rips, ripping down full sheets, then it's absolutely perfect. And we can put the parallel guides onto those. So if we are doing 20, 30, 600 rips, then we'll just shove the parallel guides onto them to do repetitive cuts over and over. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got a selection of different thickness materials. It's mainly 18mm that we use for all the carcasses. The only things that differ are shelves, adjustable or fixed. If they span over 800, we will use 25mm. And we use 6mm for backings of wardrobes, carcasses, and the bottoms of drawers. So as you can see here, we've got a few jobs, forget those bits. We've got a selection of doors here, and we've got a stack here and a stack here. Plus the ones I just showed you a minute ago, they are all ready for spraying. To be honest, all of these are also, you may see white edges already prepared. So what we would do once the job is just before this stage or machined, before it's machined, we would stack everything in a few piles all the way around the workbench, ready to stack all those edges up nice and flush, to be able to sand them up in one pack to get nice, flat, smooth edges. And it's just a nice, quick and easy way of getting your edges up really high end. Okay, so you can see here, nice and smooth and primed, ready for top coat. So if you want to see a video of how we prepare those edges, have a look up the top. To sand, we will use the Makita sander. It's a 6-inch, okay, and we use the sear discs. These are a game changer for us at the moment. They have just changed the way we sand. We love these as they have got so many dust holes. It sucks out the dust really nicely, keeps it out of the air, straight into the hoover, and they give us a lovely finish. And we've also got these, which we'll come to in just a moment. So now just picture all the packs already done and stacked with all those edges all the way around, nicely sanded. What we'll do is just give them a prime, okay, 2 coats of primer, and then we'll just give them a little light rub with the P240 sponges, okay, just to bring those, well, just to denib them. Then Sean or I will crack on and machine all those components. Once all the components have been machined, they will be dusted down and brought back into the spray room. And as you can see here, which I showed you a moment ago, we have got a whole selection here, 2 jobs okay, ready to go, ready to be sprayed. And this is how they come to me, dusted off, ready for spraying, barring these two, which are part of this job, which I'm spraying just now. So the next thing to do is to spray, obviously, and to prime. I do one primer and one top coat generally, okay? I sometimes do two coats, depending on how the top coat goes on. And whilst I'm spraying, I have the heat on just to keep the temperature above a certain, what is it, 16 degrees. This paint doesn't really like going below 16 degrees. So this little heater is fabulous. I'll leave a link in the description for this. Okay, so I've changed the paint I use. I used to use off-the-shelf paint, Dulux, Johnstones, and all those types of brands, Farrow & Ball. I was having problems with curing, just especially for dark colours. The light colours, not so much, but the paint was a lot more textured, the way it laid onto the component. So I changed to Vanites to give it a go, and it's been a game changer. I really, really love it. It gives superb finishes. It's really nice and durable, and I'm using waterborne. To be honest, if you go for 1K or 2K, they are both waterborne, so you can wash them out with warm water. But I tend to go with the 1K because it doesn't set in the machine. 2K, you have a catalyst to set the paint, and it's a little bit more expensive, but basically this is like stone, okay? It's bulletproof, it's chemical proof, lots of proof. Yeah, I tend to stick with the 1K because I like to leave paint in the machines over time, maybe over the night, maybe 2 days, etc. And I don't want to have to keep cleaning the machines out. Hence the reason I stick with the 1K. Even though there's no smells, I still stick with the 1K. So yeah, I'm using the waterborne primer. So I'll leave links in the descriptions for all of these. So you can get a dark primer if you've got a dark top coat, or you can get a light primer. I've got white here. And all of this is from Amicus UK. I'll leave a link, and it's all Vanites brand. As you can see, we've got a big tub, 25 litres here of top coat, and then we've got a primer here. We've also got a 25 litre primer too, just to stock up, so we never really run out. Always got stock, like the MDF that you saw behind me a moment ago. So next step would be to set up the machine, and I do have two machines. I generally have one for primer, which is always left for the primer. That one has got the Vanites primer in, white, and this one I've just set up with the top coat. It's called an internal lacquer, okay, just in case you are looking into the paints and you're thinking, oh, where does it say top coat or whatever? It's a lacquer, a white internal lacquer. That's the top coat. And that is the one I'm going to be using. So I've got the airless sprayers. I prefer airless. It's fast, it's quick, it's easy. You can spray as much as you want without stopping and starting. It pumps any paint through. It pumps up to 3,300 psi, so you can put such thick liquids in there. You don't need to thin them down whatsoever. No thinning. You just put the machine into the paint, prime it, go. I love these. I'll probably never change. You can get budget version, so if you are looking to start spraying, okay, then we have got the budget version. It's covered in paint, this one. It's the way I bought it. I buy all my machines secondhand. This is the GXFF. Okay, I like Graco. I don't go for any other brands. I just think Graco is the way to go. By the way, while I'm here, this is the primer that I use. Okay, it's a big tub. Again, the Vanites brand and some stock of Vanites. So once the primer is in my machine, I'll spray all my components, generally spraying around 800 psi. And the great thing about this paint is because it's thinner than off-the-shelf paint, it's designed to spray at low pressure. I use less paint and I get less overspray, and I'm able to dial that pressure right down from the 1800 that I used to spray at to around 800 to 1000 psi, which is great. Basically, you use less, less wear and tear in the machines, etc., etc. So everything gets sprayed, okay? Remember the heater, if it's cold, it's got to be above that temperature. Was it 18, 16? Everything gets sprayed, it goes on the rack. Just make sure that your racks are nice and flat. I've got a few here, got a couple of rolling racks here and here for the smaller components, here for the bigger components. I use twin slot, okay, for my shelving, because you can just move it wherever you like. And I've got pipe protectors, or pipe insulators, should I say. These work fantastic, and they also work over the poles that I use for here. So they just slot over. I got all these tubes for this rack off of a cheap gazebo, okay, the 15 quid gazebo. It comes with loads of tubes, and if you're looking for a way of making all these arms and you don't want to spend a lot of money on twin slot arms to go onto a frame, just get a cheap 20 quid gazebo and you get all the tubes. That done with that one and that one. Little tip for you there. But other than that, it is the twin slot for the bigger walls. Just make sure you get them completely level, because otherwise, if you're leaving doors on there over time, they're just going to follow. So once everything is primed, like so, it is all brought into the workshop. And we've got some silicone mats where we just lay them on the bench when the bench is empty, is currently occupied. And then they just get dotted around, and they will get a hit with the orbital sander and the sear discs that you would have seen earlier. We use 240, okay, to go over. We just give it a light pass, like so, at that speed. And we also use the sponges, which I talked about earlier, which are great because they are good at taking the arises off, okay. So all the components next door have been done, and Sean has actually completed them. He's dusted them off. He's done what I just told you that needed to be done, and they've been brought back in here ready for the top coat. It's going to tell you when you are spraying with an airless sprayer, it does come out fast, okay? The machine does spray out really, really fast, even at a low pressure. What I do is I try and cover the MDF really, really heavy on my first coat, because it just gives me a better chance of covering the second coat, the top coat, completely, rather than having to do two coats. So you can play around with this. You can play around with two primers, one top coat, one primer, two top coats, one primer, one top coat. You can play around with that. And I find that I can get away with one primer and one top coat. And if the job, I don't know, sometimes I pick and choose when I want to do a second top coat. It just depends on how I feel on the day, how I feel it's covered. But most of the time I can do one primer, one top coat. Forgot to talk about what I use to dust each piece off, okay? I use the Hyundai 8-litre silent compressor, which is great. Got the airline going through the wall there. And as a component gets sprayed, I will dust that off. I've got a brush. Don't know where that's gone. It's just like an end of a broom, a soft bristle brush. And the airline, just a blower, which we will just dust that component off once more with the fans on before we go ahead and spray that top coat. So I think that is everything, guys. Remember, the game changer for me was the paint change and the sanding disc change pads. I love this paint. It gives me really, really super finishes. I love it so much. So head over to the description. There's a discount code, I believe, up there and in the description for you. But apart from that, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video and you've taken away something from this video. If you have, like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you can. That really helps too. And if you fancy becoming a member, helping support the channel, because it does take a lot of time and effort to make these videos and giving you all this free information. If you feel like you've taken something away, feel free to head over to the membership section of my YouTube channel and become a member. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great Friday. I will see you next Friday. Take it easy. Ciao for now.